not sure if it was a gallon or what. Yeah, I picked up 2 gallons, and it cost me $2 because I went to Dollar General, and apparently there's no taxes there, or maybe it's just the no tax on water. So I'm getting hungry. However, I'm trying to be financially wise and only use my Starbucks gift cards. And straight up, I'm craving protein, and they have like a protein box. So hopefully the Starbucks I find next has that. And it's not even like that great of food. It's like carrots, apples, and then like bacon and chicken. So I'd like to be eating better. I'm wondering if I should even mess with adding a Whole Foods gift card to my wish list instead, and then I can eat more clean. The only crappy thing is that the Whole Foods gift card would basically be used when I'm traveling, like now, because the closest Whole Foods where I live is an hour away in Jacksonville. However, I do have to go there soon. I've actually never really shopped at Whole Foods. I would love to go there and actually explore. Somewhere else I actually really enjoy is Trader Joe's. However, I wouldn't necessarily call them all organic. I'm doing my best to be more conscious of the chemical components that I put inside my body. I'm reading a lot of ingredients, and if it's over 7, I try to stay away from it. So I haven't really been eating bread. I'm not happy with the bread. Maybe I can find an organic bread I enjoy. I had a naughty organic cereal, and then I added my organic honey and then milk. I don't think milk is necessarily really good for you, despite a lot of stuff out there. I'd have to do more research on that. And speaking of research, I actually just finished an hour seminar with Andrew Weber. I'm trying to think of his middle name. I know it's not Lloyd. That's Phantom of the Opera. Norton. Andrew Norton Weber. He knows a lot about distilled water, and he talked in this particular seminar, which I tweeted and I added it to my my playlist, Food for Thought. Now, something I did learn about the playlist is anything new I add, it's all the way on the bottom. So deal with that. So he talked some about fasting and basically benefits of it, and I actually am hungry spiritually to study more about fasting. I've already done some research. I know that from my own personal experience that I've never felt closer to source than when I did that myself. And I'd like to study more on breatharianism. I'm fascinated by that. And to continue, this seminar about distilled water was talking about how distilled water, I'm trying to recollect everything. I want to say it has a negative charge, and so it's looking for positive ions, so it's a good water to basically boil your foods in, because it will collect all of the, I want to say negativity. So I'm struggling with the words here to talk about this. And he talks a lot about fluoridation and how in the old Webster's dictionaries it would talk about sodium fluoride being a potent vermin killer. And then he talks about how now in all the dictionaries it's mentioned that little bits amounts of it is found inside our water in the definition dictionary. So something else that is mentioned is about how fluoride is actually found inside medications like Prozac. And of course there's tons of research you can do on sodium fluoride. And it's just, to me, it's just fascinating. It makes me want to get a microscope and to be looking at the structures of water underneath the microscope and to do my own experiments, basically. I'm interested in his ohms meter. I find all this stuff fascinating. talked a lot about how if you wanted to calcify, which also fluoridation actually triggers two things. The number one thing that it triggers and affects is the pineal gland, and the second thing is the thyroid gland. So it is said if you have distilled water, you can decalcify, and he also mentions that you shouldn't drink more than 1.5 gallons a day. So I also want to mention how a lot of times we think that we're hungry, yet really we're just dehydrated, and our body will trick us, and it's like a common norm for us to eat. And there's actually a lot of research out there. I've been listening to a lot of really awesome seminars. I wish I could share them with you. I could talk about them, yet you kind of have to do your own research in order to understand and change your belief system about the things that we've been programmed for so long about. Now, on a completely separate subject, so for sure my front speakers don't work. I messed with the front and back and center and all that stuff, and so that's lame. And I also have this little device here. Okay, so it turns my radio into a Bluetooth transmitter, basically, where I can listen to my seminars and stuff through my speakers. Now, what stinks is when I play a CD, it's louder than when the transmitter is working. So the idea has always been in the back of my mind to just switch to the audio cable. In fact, there's even an option with Honda where you can have the auxiliary cable professionally installed. However, I've never taken the initiative. So another thing I'm thinking about is how I could really benefit from an official Apple product of headphones. I tried purchasing, or should I say receiving, I added it to my wish list and I received it, 2 rip-off Apple product headphones. Now, they did the job for listening. However, when it came to talking and communicating for when I'm driving and stuff like that, it didn't go so well. So I decided to give those away. However, I'm wondering if I should have just kept a pair in my car so I can actually listen to my seminars through my headphones instead. I'm also slightly spoiled and fantasizing about AirPods. However, you know how I'm not like superiorly mature in or should I say responsible, where I might just lose them or be running or thoughtfulness because I'm lost in other stuff, or because I just don't care about material stuff, yet they are $170. I also like the idea of the pods because I'm naughty, and I like to think about, when I'm at work, I could have one in and like listen to like educational stuff while it's slow because I'm naughty, right? So there's that in my mind. I have a submissive who's supposed to be sending me a goodie box. I feel like I need names for these people so I don't disclose their personal information. This one, I made him change his username on Twitter to Team Trina Mason. He used to be I Worship Trina, and then I made him change that because Team Trina Mason was available, and I wanted to use the Team Trina Mason interface to be used as a marketing platform. However, now it's also just his own personal thing, which I don't really mind because he has his own fun with it. However, he can be a pain in my ballsack, basically. So this guy, Team Trina Mason on Twitter, he's the one that I had real-time sessions with in Orlando when I lived there, and he also helped me move. So, I dated John, who hit me in the face with a shower curtain rod, right? We talk about this story all the fucking time. John and I broke up randomly, like an official breakup, and basically we just decide that I'm getting the heck out of the house and I'm moving right then and there. Literally within just a few hours, get a U-Haul truck and out of there. So looking backwards though, John was totally seeing somebody at work basically at Universal Studios, and my intuition knew it. Just like I knew he was on drugs when he ended up hitting me, okay? So like my intuition is so strong, I would pester the shit out of him basically, trying to get the truth so desperately. Like, if you really love me, tell me the truth, because I know this information. Like, I mentioned how strong my intuition is before, and being lied to is just something that drives me fucking crazy, because I can't always make sense where the information comes from or why something doesn't feel right. I just feel, right? So this guy, Team Trina Mason, ends up picking me up in a U-Haul because I wasn't driving at the time, right? Drives me all the way to Ocala, to my grandma's house, my fish tank, everything. And my friend Chris actually ends up helping me out and helping me move the tank. And it's funny because looking backwards again, so my grandma had to be put inside the home she's in now that we just visited, right? So I had to move out of grandma's house, like within a week basically. And so I had to like come up with what I was going to do. So I had to get everything in a U-Haul, and I go all the way down to South Florida, actually. I'm trying to think how this all happened, actually. I know that there was a police officer who would hire me to do the shibari, bondage underwater work, basically. And I remember him picking me up. Yet I can't seem to remember how I actually got down to South Florida with all my stuff. And I'll tell you what, I had to go again north. Now that I remember excessively. In order to get north, a good friend of mine, Stefan, and my slave, who actually slept at the feet of my bed, alright, I'm trying to think of his name on Twitter or whatever. I can't think of it. I almost want to drop his legit name, however, I won't do that. I'm no longer associated with this person as much as possible, really. They do reach out to me occasionally. However, they have to want to help themselves. They are a Libra. You know who you are if you're listening right now, if you're stalking me like you usually do. Well, that man, he drove the U-Haul, and my friend Stefan rode along. Or no, Stefan followed behind in his car, and then they rode back down together. I should probably see Stefan while I'm here. Stefan is excessively intelligent, and I have so much to catch up with him on. Like, we are so connected. His birthday is the same as my mom's birthday, and we have always been tight. And we've been through some shit together, and we tend to get together every February for our birthdays for the Renaissance Festival, so perhaps I should definitely see him. Hey now, Starbucks, I'm starving. Exit 87. Got it. Feed me. I need food. I'm being cheap, so I'm going to use my gift cards. I also added some more gift cards. However, part of me doesn't want you to spend $100 on freaking Starbucks, because I'm not the biggest supporter of their corporation either. However, it is convenient, and for me, it's better than Panera Bread. Alright? I'm kind of just rambling about a bunch of stuff, so I kind of like don't know where to continue this. So, I think it's time to sign off. I encourage you to look at all my playlists, really, not just the Trina Mason underwater stuff. I noticed that's my most played playlist. It turns. Perhaps I have to also update that playlist, because I've added a lot of new underwater videos that totally aren't on that playlist, and there's a lot of videos that are already on my channel that aren't necessarily under that playlist, which I need to work on. A benefit of Starbucks right now too is I can totally use their Wi-Fi. Now, I wasn't really paying attention though if it was 87B or A. So I hope there's another sign. It's getting long. I love you. It's been fun.